We should all be our own kind of minimalist. And what I mean by that is if you have something that functions in your life, I don't want you to think that you have to get rid of it just because that's the minimalist thing to do, or you're trying to simplify and have a more minimal home. If something works for you, then you should have balance, right? And that's what it's like for me with my nightstand. I like to read at night before I go to bed. It calms me and it gives me a peaceful nighttime routine. Well, I need a book for that and I need a lamp for that. Not only that, but in the middle of the night, sometimes I wake up and I just want a drink of water. And I've had it to where when I tried not to have a nightstand, where my cup or my tumbler just falls over, spills water everywhere, and I have to get up and wipe it all up. It's just no fun. So if you're like me and you really need a nightstand, it's perfectly okay. And if you got rid of one and you're missing it, maybe get it back, because the problem might have not been the nightstand. It might have been the size of the nightstand, or that it had drawers and you would put a bunch of things in it, creating clutter. Or maybe you just had too much on your nightstand. You can dwindle that down to only the items that you need that are necessities. And if you love these topics as much as I do, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and set your notifications and leave me a comment and introduce yourself. I would love to meet you. One thing I 100% need and love as a minimalist is variety. I know that's not the typical minimalist thing to say, but I do need it. I love it because I'm kind of a creative person that doesn't want just the same thing all the time. That said, I think you can be minimal if you are just like me. Instead of having an entire set of Halloween dishes, which most of us don't, right? But instead of doing that like for Christmas or another holiday, let's say, or having multiple sets of dishes, if you just get a small dessert plate like this, you can use all of your regular dishes and just give it a little bit of oomph. Now for me, that's what I like to do. Maybe for you, just one set of dishes or one place setting or two place settings per person in your home works. And that's pretty much what we have with our normal dishes. But I like to celebrate. I love to throw parties, and I don't always want to have things that are disposable. I like to be able to reuse things. It's absolutely okay to take a shelf in your kitchen cabinet and put things like this that you use on occasion. Just to give you an idea how you can incorporate some things, but you don't need all the things. And you can see I have green bowls and red plates, and then over to the side I even have some shaped like Christmas trees. I think it's more about the quality of the items and how much you love them, and if you actually use them versus the quantity of items that you have if you're trying to be more minimal. As a minimalist, I 100% have to have some color. Now you might look around and say, wow, you love neutrals too. And I do. I do love a neutral palette, especially on the big things. I don't like to paint. So I found for me, I do not like any colors on my walls. It's just too much work to change it out, to paint again when I get tired of it. So with the big stuff, I'm neutral. With the small stuff, I love to add a pop of color. And recently I got this beautiful vase at IKEA. It's in this amber color. It probably isn't even doing it justice on this video. It shines, it's gorgeous in the sunlight, and it's just beautiful at any time of day. If you're thinking about adding some color, make sure that you check that item out in different varieties of light. So throughout the day, if it's a wall color or even an accent piece like this, just make sure that you're happy with it 100% of the time. And if you're not, don't be afraid to change it or take it back to the store. I did a video recently that talked all about trends, and one of them was colors. And I just want to mention this again right here, and I'll link that video below for you. But make sure that when you're choosing a color, you don't go based off of a trend. You have to really love any color that you add into your home. One thing I 100% need in my home is peace. Peace of mind that everything in my home is something I love and enjoy, and it doesn't bring me stress. There's one thing that my dad said one time that it just stuck with me, and he only said it once. And that was, Bren, make it right. And so I've always hung on to that. And if there's something that I bring into my home, it was a bad purchase, it was unintentional, it doesn't fit, it's not the right color, I could go on and on. But those kind of things end up in our home for one reason or another. We make mistakes. We're human. But you know what? We can make it right. We can let it go. Because the peace that you get from having a more simple home, that is so much greater than the price tag that you paid, right? For me, I would rather have a sectional versus a room full of furniture. That is what I 100% love, because I used to have a big house, and in my big house, I had a gigantic family room. I had overstuffed furniture, and that wasn't just on the 2 chairs with the ottomans, that was also on my couch. A sectional is just a piece of furniture that fits so nicely into any space and can be oftentimes broken up into pieces. So it's more functional. If you do decide to move, your options are really much better than it is if you decide to get a couch and 2 chairs like I originally had. Those pieces of furniture overwhelmed my space, made it feel small, and just not functional. One thing I 100% didn't realize that I needed as a minimalist was this coffee table. It is the craziest thing how that can happen. You kind of live with things and you know that it's not quite right, but until something happens to it, you just sort of stay in that mode. And so when my cats destroyed our ottoman and when I got my brand new TV stand that has drawers to store our blankets, I thought, well, why not? And now this piece of furniture has just made it so much more functional. It really works for our family. No more setting stuff on the ground or on the ledge of the couch or things rolling under the couch. It just is perfect. And another thing I realized with having this coffee table is that when I have guests come over, they can actually put things on the coffee table as well. And if you look back here, I'm doing a project right now. In the fall, I love to crochet, and I have a space for my crochet stuff. I'm this close to finishing this blanket. It's for one of my son's friends who just adopted a greyhound dog, and my understanding is they get a little chilly, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to make that little baby a blanket. One thing I love so much, it's kind of a little odd thing, but it's this glass fish that my grandma gave me. It's green and blue, and I just love the colors. I love how see-through it is, and it's sparkly. It's got these little crackles in it, and it just makes me happy every time I look at it. And it makes me think of her. And sometimes it's just small sentimental items that we love. Just those little glimpses like my grandma's fish that just make you remember people that you don't have in your life anymore or a special event that you had in your life. Whatever it is, those kind of things that are important to you, you can bring those out. You can enjoy them every day. They don't have to be stuffed in a box. And art is another thing that is personal. Everyone has different tastes, right? So what is right for me is not right for you. In all likelihood, you might like some of the things I like, who knows? But one of the things I learned is that I am very picky when it comes to art, and I only have a couple of things on my walls. I took down everything that I felt was not personal or that it was just generic. Like I went to Home Goods, I bought something, I thought, oh, this looks good, it's the right color or it's the right size. I stopped doing that a while ago, and I really love what's on my walls now. We all have our own opinion on this, but for me, closed storage is something I 100% love as a minimalist. I like to have things that are not needing to be out, stored properly, and so it takes away that visual clutter. On this exact wall, I had a gigantic shelf that was about 3.5 times the size of this cabinet here. So if you look at this cabinet versus the shelf, what do you think? it kind of gives you ease with your brain, right? It's behind closed doors. All of those little pieces of clutter, they're all behind closed doors, and you don't have to visually see them. You don't have to think about them. It's just less stress on your mind. I found as a minimalist that when I look around my space, even if I have stuff, which we all do, right? If we put it behind closed doors, it just makes all the difference for me. I feel more at ease. My space isn't busy. It just is lighter. And it's not that I don't love open shelving. I actually do. I have an entire open shelf that I kept. But having that shelf and also this gigantic shelf just filled with things, that was just too much. One thing I 100% need in my home are things that I love. I don't have room in this small house for maybes, and even if you do have a bigger space, you might want to consider that you don't need the maybes either. This chair was a replacement for a chair that was gigantic, and it was overstuffed and it overwhelmed our space. So I took that big overstuffed chair right back to the store, and I bought this one a few years later, and I love it. It took me a while to find just the right piece, and I had to be okay with that. I had to decide that until the right piece came along, that I would just make do with not having anything in this space, even if it looked bare. One minimalist thing that I discovered I really love is to have a room that has things in it that actually fit. I know you've seen this lamp in a few different videos of mine, but this has never been quite right for my room. It's something I had though, and I used it. That said, what I did was make a note mentally that if I come across a lamp that works better in my space, then I'll go ahead and get it. And I recently found this lamp that is the perfect scale and size for my nightstand and just the room in general. And when I switched this one out for that one, I couldn't believe the difference. It just made an immediate impact on the space. And it was the final piece in this room that I needed to just make it perfect. Being a minimalist or trying to have a more minimal, simple home doesn't mean it's all stark walls with nothing in your home. In my opinion, it's just the opposite. We should all strive to make sure that our homes are filled with the things that are meaningful to us, things that we use, love, and enjoy. And if you love these topics as much as I do, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and set your notifications and leave me a comment and introduce yourself. I would love to meet you. And don't forget to check out one of these next videos that YouTube picked out just for you.